Hi, welcome back to It's a Miracle Beauty. My name is Brandy, and my channel does concentrate on utilizing what I have and not purchasing more. Last year was a total failure for that, but it's new year, and I'm going to try to be better this year. I have some really good plans that I think are going to help me do that. Today, I'm doing a declutter. I do a declutter every single quarter because if I'm not using it and it's going bad in my collection, then someone else cannot utilize it, or it's gone bad in my collection and it's sitting there despite the fact it cannot be used. So I do these quarterly. This is the final one for 2023, and all of these products were decluttered in the final quarter of 2023. This is going up after the first, so that's why I want to explain. So I think I'm just going to kind of go where I have things and not necessarily going to start in order. I am going to do eyeshadows last because they actually relate to another video and I want them to be remaining on my desk when I get done. So first one I'll say is this is decluttered due to age. I put this in my pan challenge in December. This is the Patrick Ta, what do they call this? She's Juicy, and it's like a balm or a lip mask. I didn't even get through the top of this. If you look, it's definitely got issues and it's really bad. It's oily, it's gross, it smells. So I did declutter this in that challenge and put it in another one, which I did finish. Just a little sample that's went bad. It has a stink. This is the Petite and Pretty eyeshadow. And then this one I'm actually decluttering because I don't like it, but I have used it, so unfortunately I have to throw it away. This is the Larizzi Cosmetics, and this is just a pinkish lip product. It smells funny and I don't care for it. I don't think it's bad. I think it's like a preference thing. Some cream products that I have, I'll try to do the ones together. LYS, these were in the holiday packs last year. I liked them. They were okay. They weren't my favorite thing in the world. They weren't the worst thing in the world, but they are drying out now that they're a year old. And because cream typically, let's see if these have it on here. Oh, it's 18 months. I'm going to test these before I declare these actually. I'm going to take these back out because if they're 18 months, they're not bad yet for sure. They still have 6 months of life left. I feel like they're drying out, but I've had 2 other products that did that. And once I used them more regularly, they like rejuvenated. So I'm going to keep that for now. One I'm decluttering because it sucks is the KVD Contour like serum. This is one, first of all, it's gone bad also, but it's like stinky and gross now. But this one I thought would be the perfect color. I thought it'd work great. It just disappears completely on my skin. So that is going in the trash. That is one of the worst products I tried this year. When I initially tried it, I like rubbed it on the back of my hand and you could see it. Every time I put it on my face, it just disappears. So I have 3 e.l.f. products. These are the Luminous Putty Blush in Turks and Caicos, the bronzing regular, or this is luminous. This is the warmer luminous for light skin. And then I have a putty blush in Bermuda. So all 3 of these have dried out. They are no longer like this one. You can see how crusty it is on the top. And then these ones also have dried out. And like this one in particular, it's really weird because the luminous gives it a shine, but when you rub it, it's like dry and scratchy and gross. And then the last one is the Bermuda one. I actually loved this one. I used this a ton before it dried out. These typically dry out very fast because they're only $7. I don't really judge them too harshly because you get what you pay for. But typically these do dry out fast. So if you don't want to waste product or you don't want to waste $7, then I suggest buying less of them and utilizing them more often. I have so many cream products which I have been cutting down. I have a lot less now than I did, but when you have a ton, you're trying to rotate and use them all, and unfortunately, they just go bad while you're waiting. One that is way past expired. Again, this one says 12 months. This is the Fenty cream. This is in Summertime Wine, and this is from when they released it. So it's way over. I did panless for a little bit this year, but it's just changing consistency, performance, all that stuff. And then I hem out on decluttering this one. I was kind of unsure, and then I finally just said, yeah, you know what, I'm going to do it. This is from Rose Inc., which is a brand. Their blushes, love them. But this doesn't stay hydrated and it's way too warm for my skin. So I kept trying to make it work. I panned it for like, I think 6 or 8 months this year. And I just finally said, you know what? I'm working too hard to try to make this work. I'm done with that. So that is going to go. So that is all my cream products. Let's do powder products next. I'm kind of jumping around because I'm looking for things that are easy for me to grab and aren't going to make a ton of noise when I grab them. So I am decluttering. I'm not throwing it away, but I am decluttering my Rare Beauty powder. I didn't like this the last time I used it. I had it in my pan challenge, I think in December. I can't remember if it was in November or not, but it was in December, and it was just very frustrating and it was hard for me to find a good use for it. So that is actually going to be decluttered, but it's going to go to my daughter. So that's not getting thrown away, anything like that. One that I'm throwing away because it's age, and actually I've already sent her one of these, is the Cover FX. I was panning the 2 middle shades most of the year. I never did hit pan on this one, but it is really close. It's like right down to I probably should have just kept panning it, but I was tired of using it, and when I get tired of it, I want it out. But I did hit a a pan in the brightening shade. I use that on my inner corner mainly, or my upper brow bone for like the entire year. So then I have my one size. This is in Fat Ass. This is, I love the names. The name is Cheek Clapper is the name of it, first of all. Then this palette is Fat Ass. And then there's Twerkalicious, Rosebud, and BBL. Amazing names. So this is the ones that have the cream and then the powders. This is just too bright for my skin tone. They're too pigmented. So I'm sending that to my daughter because she is darker skin than I am. And I just realized I did a powder and then a blush, but that's okay. We'll just keep rolling with it because that's my only blush. So I am decluttering my Kosas powder. It is because of the dry pan that happens. It is just utterly destroyed. So I am going to throw that away. The number 7 powder that's supposed to be a dupe for Charlotte Tilbury. I do feel they are very close, but this is, I think, 4 years old now, and it doesn't feel bad, but every time I use it, it like separates. It kind of looks funny. And then what I did not use other than one time, so I'm going to give it to my daughter, and it's not very old, is this PYT. If I get it open. This is just a translucent powder, and so I'm going to send that to her. Maybe she can use it as a touch-up powder or whatever. So these two are getting thrown away. This is a year old. I actually would give it to her if I thought it was a style that she would like, but unfortunately she has more oily skin than I do, so that wouldn't work for her. Next we have complexion or complexionist products. So I am decluttering my Glossier Stretch Concealer. This is in G12. I actually have a G11 that I'm going to open. This is like 3 or 4 years old. It still was functioning fantastic. I panned it the whole year. There is a huge dip in it, but it is way past expired and I do not need to be put by my eyes. So that's going in the trash. One that I'm going to send to my daughter. I don't know if she'll like it, but I'm going to send it to her. This is the Vitamin C Putty Primer. I don't care for it. It's not my favorite thing. Actually, before I mail that, I might look and see what that looks like when it's brand new. I just don't remember. I feel like it wasn't that dark. I could be wrong. It is a vitamin C base, so it could have been. But I'll check that before I send it. Another one I'm sending to her, I doubt she'll be able to use it, but she might be able to use it as a smoothing primer because of our skin tone difference. This is the Iconic Super Smoother. See, this says it's a blurring skin tint. There's nothing to this. Like, I feel like I had nothing on my skin. I tried it 4 times, and every time I was like, where is it? It looks like I just put moisturizer on. Like, it's not my jam, but it did blur pores a little bit, so I'm hoping that maybe she can use it or give it to someone that she could use. Another one I'm giving to her is my Auric, or Auric, I think is how you say it, Glow Lust. This is a beautiful product, and if I did not have dry skin, this would be going nowhere because I love the way it looked, but it is so drying because I have such dry skin. If it's not a moisturizing product, it's drying me out. And I honestly think that's probably how this was built because Samantha Ravindal typically had oilier skin, if I remember correctly. I haven't watched her in a while, but when I was younger and I watched her, I believe she had oilier skin, so combo or oily. And people who have oily skin obviously want to find a product that they can wear that gives them luminance, or luminescence, or, you know, radiance without causing oils. So it makes sense that this would not make you more moisturized. It makes sense that it would kind of hold the oils at bay. So pretty amazing product, especially if you have oily or combo skin. I personally think it looks beautiful. Every time I used it, when I first put it out, I'm like, oh my God, that's the most prettiest product ever. And then 4 hours later, I looked like the desert. And so it took me quite a few different testings to figure out that's probably the product that was causing it. And another one I'm getting rid of because of my dry skin and honestly makes me want to throw up in my mouth. But this is a $69 foundation. This is the Pat McGrath Labs. This is exactly a year old. I don't remember. It's a 12 months, so it's just now expiring. But this is an alcohol-based foundation. It's settled in my lines. I finally found a way to wear it. I wore it quite a bit this year with my Good Apple, and it looks great, but I am done fighting with it. I am going to let it go. I did pan a little bit below that line, so it is what it is. I'm going to let it go. Please note, though, I never pay full price for Pat McGrath. Now I don't pay any price because I don't buy Pat McGrath. But when I was actively engaged in buying Pat McGrath, I only bought when she had a 30 to 40% off sale. So I did not pay full price for this. I paid a little over half. So 40% or 30% would have been what I discounted. So I paid 60 to 70% of the value. Another one I'm decluttering and technically is expiring this month is my Kosas foundation. I actually looked. I think I have my book in here with me, but I keep a record of every foundation I put on every day and every eyeshadow I use every day. So if I use 2 foundations, it says 2 for that day, but I recorded the whole year and then I count up how many times I used it the most. This was like in the contenders for the top 5. I was kind of shocked. I didn't realize I had really used it that much. I felt like I had failed at it because there's like nothing out of the bottle that you can see, but this is very dry on my skin. No matter what primer I use, I end up looking ashy and dry by the end of the day. I look powdery. So this is not for me. And since it's expired, I am going to throw it away. One I'm sending to my daughter, that is because this is a dislike for me. This is the Pore Diffusing Wear Beauty Primer. I don't feel like this does anything, and it creates like this almost like oily barrier on my skin, which if it blended with my foundation would be chef's kiss because my skin needs all the moisture it can get. However, this one just didn't do it for me, so I'm going to let her try it, see if she can get any money. It is a travel size, see if she can get some out of it. Another one I'm going to send to her that is, I think, 6 or 8 months old, and it has a 12-month shelf life. This is the Sephora Best Skin Ever. When I first got this, I loved it, used it quite a bit. Every time I try it now, it just does not look right. It looks weird on my skin. And I tried it when I was even like having rashes or anything, and it just looked weird. So I'm here for it to go away. I think that is all I'm sending her of the complexion. Yeah, it is because I only have one left. I might send her some of these eyeshadows I have. So I was painting the L'Essentiel Guerlain and I put it in a compact. If you own this, do not put it in a compact. It does not live well in a compact. It aged, it thickened, it oxidized. In fact, I now have to throw this away even though I have more. I might see if I can get with Dawn dish soap, sometimes can get it. It just created this like mess in here that I'm having trouble getting out. I think I'll probably try soaking this in Dawn because Dawn's a grease cutter. It can get through the oily foundations, but I love this foundation. It's very stinky and it's like very glowy, but it's beautiful. I believe it's discontinued. I don't believe they make this anymore. But it is one that is just stunning. It's very beautiful. So I had already panned it like down to here unofficially. Like I would use this with other foundations. I'd use it on its own, use it on Sundays, which is my free day. But I'd already panned about half of it. When I pumped the rest in here, I got probably 5 or 10 more uses out of it. And then it's done. So I'm not going to throw that away. I almost threw my case away. I forgot I'm soaking down. So this is done. So let's move on to eyeshadows. Let's go through the ones I'm straight up decluttering first. And then I'll show you the ones I'm sending to her. So the first 2 that I'm straight up decluttering are both from Nabla. One is what's this one called? Ruby Lights, and one is the glitter palette. So they do look like this, and I have to be careful because these are decaying, so I can't like hold them completely up. They look like this. I did not use these anywhere near enough to get my money's worth. I thought I would use them all the time, and then I realized I really don't like these type of glitter products. I think I do still have 2 of these left if I'm not mistaken, and these are literally falling apart. The moisture barrier that holds all the glitter together is decaying, so they're falling out of the palette. So I am going to declutter these. They're not going to anyone. One I'm going to declutter, not because I don't think my daughter could get use out of it, but because it'd be embarrassing to send to her because it has all kinds of pans in it. I have another one of these, so I just finally decided I'm going to let this one go. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pans and 2 almost pans. So I am going to let this one go. This was one of my most used palettes in 2023. So that tells you how much panning you can get done. And I need to set that one aside because I need it for my #1 products this year. For use, not necessarily my favorite, for use what my #1 products were. So next one is a very hated, this was supposed to be my Project Pan that palette for 2023. I don't think I even made it to February. Like this thing is annoying and I love cool tone. So I'm thinking possibly it's age or maybe it was just the formula of this palette. I normally do enjoy Anastasia palettes, the newest one, Fall Romance, but the rest of them I normally enjoy. So this is going in the trash. This is at least, it's almost 6 years old. So I moved into my house, not this house, but my last house, I think in fall of 2018. And I bought it that Christmas. So it's 5 years old going on 6. So we are going, well, I guess it's exactly 5. It's not going anywhere because it's going in the trash. So that's going in the garbage. One I am decluttering that I'm very angry about. Very, very angry about. Like, I wish I hadn't already left a review at Sephora because I would go review this. This is the Patrick Ta. This is the Major Dimensions 2, I think it's called. Yeah, this is the 2. I'm going to try to insert a picture of this that I can put on the screen, but these sparkly shades are moldy. There's literal mold growing on them. And I had heard rumors that that happens, but I didn't see it on my palette for the longest time. And I was going through, as I try everything when I'm going through my inventory, and there's literal mold growing on the top. So never buying any of these palettes again. And it wasn't my favorite palette to begin with. I don't think it was like some stellar rockstar palette. Like whenever I see the end of the year and they put it as #1 and I'm like, but why? There's so much better matte shades. There's so much better sparkly shades. If I were to say he was good at a shade, it's the mattes. The shimmers are not that good. They're not that reflective. They're not that metallic. And they don't even have like that, like Wayne Goss's palette has that like subtle shimmer. No, these like you have to like beat them up to get anything on your eye. So I'm over it. It was $69. $69 to get mold. And I think it's about a year old, maybe less. No, I bought it in the spring, I think. Sephora doesn't let you go back and look at your history anymore, so I can't tell, but I'm pretty sure I bought that in the spring. I have 3 I'm sending my daughter. One that is getting agier, but it still performs perfectly is the Oma Beauty Black Magic. A lot of news just came out about this brand. They've been purchased, and now it's no longer a Black owned brand. It's now a 2 old white guy brand. So I will not have the same passion for this brand that I once did because I wanted to support a Black owned business, and I love her. Sharon C has such a great attitude about things, and she's no longer involved with the brand. So I will not be supporting them any further, but I know my daughter can enjoy these. Again, she's a little bit deeper skin than I do, so these colors will look beautiful on her. What I still am hashing, and I'm going to declutter it, but I kind of don't want to because I do enjoy the palette. This is from KVD Beauty, and this is the Edge of Reality palette. This got so much hate. First of all, I got hate because of the packaging, but it's recyclable. And a lot of people didn't care for these, but I actually really loved it. This black sparkly shade, if you do that with like the Wayne Gass or some of the Victoria's Secret, I don't know, should I say Natasha Denona or Pat McGrath sparkles over it, 10. Way better than other blacks I've used. But I'm going to let it go because I have enough and she'll get use out of it where I won't. And then this is one from Sigma. It's called the Spicy Palette. I actually got this free in an order. It's gorgeous. The shimmers are very metallic. It's very pretty, but I don't wear warm tones enough to have an entirely warm palette. And if I did, I would reach for the bronze from Natasha. No, I'm not going to reach for Sigma. So I'm going to send these to my daughter. So that's 3 palettes going to her. So I, again, go through my collection or my makeup every 3 months, and I declutter things that are never going to get used, that someone else can utilize that I'm not going to utilize enough. And then I also do that for expired products. So every single quarter I have a declutter. I think this year I had 3 relatively large declutters. Like, this is big enough for me because I'm not, you know, like a YouTuber getting free makeup. So this was a pretty big one for me. I had one slightly bigger than this, and then I had a really small one and a more normal. My quarterly are not normally this many products. At the end of the year, I kind of get it out of here. Let's start fresh. The beginning of the year, I'm kind of like, not sure. So just want to put expectations out there that these declutters can vary greatly in size, but they're never those huge declutters. So if you like this video, I hope you'll like, share, subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell for notifications because I never upload at the same time, same day, same week, same anything ever. And I hope wherever you are having a great new year, and I'll see you soon.